Shalom, brothers and sisters. Shalom. Giving honor and praise unto the Most High, the Creator, the Maker of heaven and earth. My name, Shalom. Giving honor and praise unto the Most High, the Creator, the Maker of heaven and earth. My name, Shalom. My name is Yeshaya Yisrael of the tribe of Dan of the nation of Israel. This particular presentation, brothers and sisters, we intend to bring out the Hebrew that we see, brothers and sisters, in Leviticus chapter 18. This is on two different channels, Mordeh Yeshaya Torah lessons, as well as Mordeh Yeshaya Hebrew lessons. And brothers and sisters, in giving due respect and benevolence unto the Most High, the one who sees all and is not seen, the one who judges all and is not judged, is in whose name does a brother come in. We ask you all to comment, like, and subscribe. We ask you all for your constructive criticism as well. So, brothers and sisters, without any further ado, we are going to get into Leviticus 18 in the Hebrew, part 1. We intend to have this as a series. So as the time goes along, we will have part 2, part 3, focusing on the Hebrew that we see biblically in Leviticus chapter 18. What we want to point out is that this is stated again on two different channels. Mordeh Yeshaya Torah lessons, because Leviticus is in the Torah, and Mordeh Yeshaya Hebrew lessons, because we're going over Hebrew. So without any further ado, let us pull this up for reference purposes, and let us get started in this manner. We're going to go, brothers and sisters, to the slideshow, and from the current slide, if we will. All right. And Shalom, giving honor to the Most High. This presentation is brought to you by Danitepublications. We hope you are well and will be better. We hope and ask that you subscribe to the channel, comment, like, and share. I can be reached at email at yyisrael22@yahoo.com. Again, if there's any questions or comments, please feel free to type it into the chat. All right, let's go on. Thank you for that, family. Now, we are going to be using the laser pointer in this case, right? And it says, Waidaber Yohd el Moshe lemor. All right, so now we see what? Waidaber Yohd el Moshe lemor. And let's look. This is very common in the Torah. It says, in the Eternal, he spoke to Moses, saying, Waidaber. The W means and. Thus, we are left with Yedaber. The Y is the prefix and identifies the he pronoun. In the description, there is a video explaining the use of the Yohd as a prefix. Shabbat Shalom, my brother Moreh Shama, my Shalom Ka. We are left with Daber. This is a PL verb stem. The word means literally he spoke. So brothers and sisters, the word Daber, or in certain cases Diber, means he spoke, and the root of such. How do we get and he spoke? Is because of the wow consecutive. In this, the future tense becomes the past tense, and the past tense becomes the future tense. So brothers and sisters, what are we pointing out in this particular case? Is that in the wow consecutive, in dealing with such, in biblical Hebrew, is when the wow, okay, normally is within the matter of the past tense becomes future, and its future becomes past. All right, this is something, brothers and sisters, that we care to bring out for reference purposes. So if anyone is able to hear, and if people are in good spirits, please type in the number 4. Thank you for that. If you can hear well what's being presented, and if you're in good spirits, please type in the number 4 in this particular manner. I'm just taking just a little bit of time to share this with some people. You can look at the screen if you care to. And again, if you happen to have any notes concerning or any questions or notes concerning this, please feel free again to type it within the chat. All right. Just want to point that out for reference purposes. If there's any questions or comments concerning this, please feel free to type it within the chat. Thank you for that. Shalom, my brother, Yirmiyahu Yisrael. All right. So, brothers and sisters, getting into this and hoping everybody is well and will be feeling better, I'm going to ask you all to get your pens, your pads, your paper, and to take notes. Again, going to ask you to get your pens, your pads, your paper, and to take notes. All right. And let us get into this matter, brothers and sisters, from a lingual point of view. All right. I am glad to the Most High that the presentations are now coming out a lot clearer. For those who do know, there was a situation in the past regarding the audio. So please keep me abreast, family, and so forth. And it's definitely appreciated in said manner. All right. So, with the people who had typed it in, I appreciate that. Shabbat shalom and shalom to everybody present. We again hope and pray that everybody is well and will be feeling better. Okay, let us get into this, brothers and sisters. All right. Let us continue. Now, this here says El Moshe. The words here, El Moshe, means to Moses. El in this case means to or unto. El, to. Eleka, to you. Now, this M that you see there, brothers and sisters, it shows it to be a matter of it being masculine. Alayik, to you. That F stands for feminine. All right. Shabbat shalom. Shalom, my love, Michaela. Shalom, Sarah. How you doing, love? May everyone feel better and be better. We hope and pray to the Most High for such. Eliwa, to him. Eleha, to her. In the description, there is a video on the meaning of the name Moses. Now, I'm going to take, no disrespect intended, the L. And when I say L, I mean the loss in this, because there is no video in the description for such, because that video I did not put within the description. Why? And partly because we want to keep it focused on the Hebrew. And then with that one, there's a lot of history in it, which is not bad. But we want to keep, as my lady was telling me to do, keep the Hebrew classes, keep the Torah classes, the history classes. So that's the situation in that. But briefly concerning the name Moses is English. Moshe is Hebrew. All right. And Egyptian, Musos, means a child. And Moses means that which is born, and Museh means to be born in Egyptian, but in Hebrew, from Mashah means to be drawn or take out of water. So it's a word that you can see, brothers and sisters, coming from an aspect from where the Egyptians meant it and from the way the Hebrews meant it. All right. So this is something we want to point out in that particular case. All right. Let us continue, brothers and sisters, from all right, here, current slide. There's any questions or comments, please feel free to type it into the chat. Definitely appreciate it. We're going to need to remember this particular portion right here. What you see there that says Eleka, Alayik, Elayo, and Eleha. Remember that, brothers and sisters, as we go along in this presentation, in part because it's going to be of usage. It's going to be needed as we continue in this particular case. All right. I appreciate everybody in the chat. What I'm going to do now is leave that up there. Take your screenshots of it. All right. And if you're watching this when this is already uploaded, you can pause it and do the same thing in that particular case. Get your pens, get your pads, get your paper and take notes. All right. This is again coming from Danitepublications, giving honor and praise unto the Most High, the Creator, the Maker of heaven and earth. Brothers and sisters, we are going to make sure we get good matters on this and have the phone being able to be charged well. Give me 1 second, family. Be right there. Thank you. Okay, giving honor and praise to the Most High, the Creator, the Maker of heaven and earth. Did anyone decide to take the screenshot of such and to write or to write this down? That's your decision. It's right there. I had to make sure that the phone was charging well, so I'm going to ask the family if you can type in the number 4, if you can hear me well, and if you're in good spirits, please do so at this time. If I can be heard well and people in good spirits, please type in the number 4. Thank you for such. We're asking again to subscribe to the channel. Now, this again is going to be very, very important as this lesson goes on. There is a total of 19 slides in this. Thank you for that, my lady Sarai. Thank you for that, my brother Yirmiyahu, and Torah for that, my brother Shama Eliezer. Thank you for that. Let's continue, family. Now, this word here, lemor, this used to trip me up when I was a child. And what do I mean by that is because it kept on saying singing. And so I know Omer means singing, but that's why study is important in this particular case. Now, let's look at this, brothers and sisters, from the laser pointer. This word lemor, this word is lemor. This word means literally to say. The word also means saying. The saying is not the present tense of such. The ing, and this denotes when used to show an instance of a process / matter or action. So he was speaking to him saying. Was is already past tense. So this ing in saying is not the present tense. That's why I just wanted to point that out in that. The present tense of such is the word omer, all right? Or omeret. So now let's look at this, and we're going to circle the feminine one, the feminine word of it, and we're going to use, brothers and sisters, say the yellow color. No, we're not. We're going to use, if we will, this color here. And what I'm going to circle, brothers and sisters, is this word here, omeret. Omeret that you see there circled is the matter of it being feminine. All right. We are going to go over a matter now. Remember, we kept on saying, get your pens, your pads, and your paper and to take notes. In due respect, there's a reason. Let's go over. Omer and his sister Omeret. Now, remember, we just went over Omer and Omeret, right? So let's go over this matter here. Get your pens, your pads, your paper, and to take notes. All right. And we're going to look at this from the matter of the laser pointer. All right. In this particular case. And it says what? Omer, saying, ani. Omeret, saying, ani. I or I am is ani. Now, at times you might see, brothers and sisters, the ani. All right. We want to show with the pen. You might see it with the patak kwatan, as you see there. And sometimes you might see it as just shown here with the patak kwatan. Sometimes you might see it with a kwamat. Don't let that trip you up. Sometimes you might see it in what they call the aknat in Hebrew. We'll discuss that with the vowels, because I intend to do a whole nother lesson in the future on vowels and the accent marks and I want to say this in due respect. There is no set accent that you got to have for Hebrew. Speak your speech, as the saying goes. You don't have to change your voice for such. There's nothing wrong with it, but don't let somebody tell you that you have to have this accent, because you got Shibboleth and Fibolet. But it's where Solomon gets into the matter of saying, that, oh, get what? Understanding. All right. So if you understand where the person is coming from, let's not make a mountain out of a molehill when we all can just step over and be in peace. And that's my point in that particular case. So let's look at this, brothers and sisters. You have here the laser pointer. Eleka, to you. Elayik, to you, feminine. Eliu, to him. Eleha, to her. So now, if one is saying, Ani Omer, means I am saying, Ani Omer Eleka, I am saying to you. That is an entire sentence. Ani Omeret Elayik, I am saying to you, a female speaking to a female. Ani Omer Eliu, I am saying to him. That's an entire sentence. See how Hebrew is easy? That is an entire sentence that you can sit there and just build upon in that particular case. Hebrew is different, but it is not difficult. And this is something, again, we want to point out for reference purposes. All right? Are there any questions or comments concerning this? Please share it within, brothers and sisters, at this time, or when you're comfortable to do so. All right? Thank you all for cooperating. I can't really hear my voice. So when I ask, can I be heard? Some people on their channels don't say, can I be heard? On this channel, I say, can I be heard? Haikolani lehishameya. Don't let somebody go along 10 minutes in, or as we are here, 17 minutes in, and then say, hey, I couldn't hear you from the beginning. That's not nice. That's Zelo Yafe. That's not nice. You know, and so forth and so on. So if those can I be heard, say those 4 words. If that right there is such a big problem, and I'm not trying to cast stones or take shots, that is why it's a good thing for a person to have their own platform and channel. Because then you can, in due respect, have it go the way in due respect, the way you're comfortable with it. You understand? And like I'm saying, in no disrespect, I've been taught at different congregations, taught on other people's platforms, learned on other people's platforms. But what I found out for self and giving due benevolence and respect to the Most High God, a brother studied on his own after his teachers and wants to teach in a way, giving honor on a human level to his teachers, what can be ascertained and what can be gleaned and gained. All right. So I remember being told things such as, don't even go over that kind of lesson. Or when you're going over the portion, don't say that part in Hebrew. We're Israelites. We wrapped up, turbaned up. We got our kippah, which is our head covering on. Some of us got the mitznefet on the front of their forehead, or the totafot, as is referred to in many cases. Some people got the aspect of the tabaot, or the rings. Some people got the what? The zamidim, or the bracelets, the agilim. You understand? Agil basically meaning earring. You got the nizmei ha'af, the nose ring or nezem. All of that going on, but then and sometimes it's like, okay, let's halt this person from, quote, and I hate to have to say it, shining on another's platform. Yeah, a brother kind of experienced that. So giving honor and praise unto the Most High, that being able to bring his word, and hopefully it is blessed, you know, in this particular kind of matter and so forth. And I still say, pick your teacher. Wherever your spirit goes, pick your teacher. And let's move on in this case. So now let's look, brothers and sisters, at this. It says, I am saying to you, Ani Omer Eleka. Ani Omer Elayik. Ani Omer Eliu. Ani Omer Eliu. So a female, remember we were saying get your pens, your pads, and your paper and take notes and look at it like this, the masculine and the feminine. So now we already went over Ani. All right. So Ani, brothers and sisters, when you're looking at it in that particular case, is I or I am, masculine or feminine. So in light of that, looking upon it like this, so ani is for male and ani is for female. So if omer is masculine, meaning saying, and omeret is feminine, meaning saying, you can take what? Eleka, alayik, elayu, eleha, and know how to say, I'm saying to you, to a male, I'm saying to you, to a female, I'm saying to him, I'm saying to her. See how all of that works? Giving honor and praise unto the Most High, the creator, the maker of heaven and earth. Some brothers and sisters, they, I hate to have to say it, look for quote unquote views. But as we've been pointing out, Israel or Israelites have been on the you know what list, the T list. You don't say certain words on the internet, they ask us not to. The T list, since you know that thing happened with a plane in a building, Israelites have been on the T list since 2001 as number 6. I don't hide I'm an Israelite. I don't hide this particular matter. So when people, and I say this in no disrespect, anyone, oh, I need more views, or we need this. In any channel, you can have 40,000 views and 18 likes. But the more likes you get on a platform, the more YouTube will sit there and share it. Not the more views as much as the more likes. The more subscribers, the more YouTube itself will push your video. But we have to remember that is the Most High who brings things together. So we don't have to try to quote fight for views and I'm going to do something different than that channel so I can look different and so forth and so on. Don't have to sit there and do all of that. Do what the Most High God has given you as a blessing, and he will direct the steps on how it can be. Let's move on, family. Now let's get into this right here. Again, we're asking you to get your pens, your pad, your paper, and to take notes. All right? Daber el bnei Yisrael wa amarta aleihem. Daber. This word is daber, as you see there. The meaning of this word is speak. This is in the PL stem and in the command form. When we say command form, we are saying it is telling one to do something. This is when speaking to a male, regardless of age. Daber na. Now we're going to, brothers and sisters, highlight the part that says na, as we see here, and is what we see here. Na means please. See how easy Hebrew is? All right. This can be used when speaking to anyone, regardless of age. It would be fitting when speaking to an elder to use such. Just having manners, if you will, for the lack of a better term, respect or honor. You may not just want to tell an elder, speak, male or female alike. You may want to say, speak, I pray thee, you know, in that particular case. All right. No, Anoki is something that I didn't get into in this video for many reasons, but Anoki can be masculine or feminine. Jacob said Anoki, saying I am, speaking of himself. All right. So just want to point that out. So you can either say Ani, which is for male or female, or you can say Anoki, which is for male or female. All right. But thank you for that question, my brother Dora. All right. So now let's look at this. We have here, right? We're going to erase all on that side. We have here with the highlighter, if we will, right? Dabri, speak. Then we have here, what? Dibru, speak. Then we have here, what? Daberna, speak. Now, let's look at this. All right. You have here, daber, when speaking to a male, saying speak. And dabri is when you're speaking to a female, saying speak. And dibru is when you're speaking to a group of people, saying speak. And debarana is when you're speaking to all females, saying speak. This is the command form in this particular case. All right. If there's any questions or comments, please feel free to type it into the chat. All right. Let's go on, family, in this particular case. We have here the word dober and his sister doberet. So dober speaks or speaking. This is all, in this case, on the left-hand side here in the present tense. Any questions or comments, please feel free to type it into the chat. Do beret, speak or speaking. This F stands for female or feminine. All right? Often you will see this as such. Medaber, that's more commonly used, or medaberet. So now when saying a Hebrew word for speaking, you might see mostly, or you will see mostly, I'm not going to even sit there and exaggerate it, medaber or medaberet. All right, what we're seeing right here and with the highlighter, and we're going to highlight the part that we're talking about. All right, you will see that mostly in that case. All right. Now, when you deal with this particular case, remembering ani is I or I am. That is consistent. That is the most used pronoun. All right, in that particular case. So now let's look. I or I am. Ani. Ani medaber. I am speaking. Ani medaberet. I am speaking. Feminine. Eleka, to you, masculine. Elayik, to you, feminine. Eliel, to him, which is automatically masculine. And eleha, to her, which is automatically feminine. Brothers and sisters, in Hebrew, there is no word for a person who wants to change one's sexuals given by the Most High from birth. That change that people do, what they call the T word, which is something they ask us to not try to, quote, talk about too bluntly on the internet. There is no Hebrew word for that. That's called muzar, meaning strange or weird. Kind of like getting into the word mamzer. Does anybody know in the chat what does the word mamzer means? All right, I'm going to ask that in the chat. Mamzer. What does that mean? Does anybody know in the chat? Thank you for that, family. So now let's look at this. And we're going to, brothers and sisters, right, with the time allotted, erase the ink on this particular side, right? And we're going to get to the laser pointer. Dober, doberet. Now, you can say that. We want to show it the pen. And let's show it in black ink, if we will. All right. And yeah, mamzer means forbidden union. But what mamzer is actually too, brother, is the product of such. Born of an evil bed / the bastard, or quote incest. Yes, the product of such, either from incest, adultery, and so forth. In that particular case, mamzer, in that manner, coming in part from the root word zor, which means to be strange. All right. So, question in the matter of vengeance. When Lot was captured, Abraham went to save him instead of letting, I don't know why it's not letting me see that, letting God, when it is right for us to take matters in our own hand. Thanks. Okay. We asked the creator of heaven and earth, and I did say state your questions. This is a Hebrew class, but I would like to address what Hebrew boy just put into the room. The Most High guides the heart. Because we may not have read that Abraham said a prayer or counseled the Most High, does not mean that he did not counsel the Most High and got an answer from the Most High. And certainly once we see why that's done. Abraham in Genesis 26 verse 5, the Most High said, because he kept my laws, my statutes, my commandments, and my laws. Part of the laws of the Most High is that you don't stand idly by the blood of your brother. So this is no disrespect toward prayer or supplication, but it does not tell us in the law that everything you do, you must face toward the Holy Land, raise your hands, and offer prayer. You already know not to steal. You don't have to ask, should I steal this? Should I eat this pork? Should I be doing this on Shabbat? Should I sit there and have the ability to save my brother and not do it? When the Most High said, love your neighbor as yourself, that's already within us. So we just want to point that out for reference purposes. Hopefully that answer was satisfactory. All right, let's continue on, brothers and sisters. So let's look. You have dober, that to be connected to medaber, meaning the exact same thing. And we're going to show with the pen, but with the yellow. All right. We have what? I'm going to erase that because I don't even see it that clearly. Eraser. That. And we're going to show it with something a little darker. All right. In that particular case, for reference purposes. Doberet. Medaberet. Those two words means the exact same thing. Whether you say dober or medaber, doberet or medaberet. All right, feminine, doberet, medaberet, both feminine. That's why I wanted to point that out. All right, so if there's any questions, let that be asked. Thank you for that. So if I were to say male, ani medaberet ibri, to a woman, ani medaber ibri, I would sound crazy to a Hebrew speaker. In that particular case, I wouldn't go so far to say crazy because you have to remember we're coming back into this. I don't know how many people here have children, but sometimes when you see your child walking and they fall as a baby, and all of us in many cases are babies in the language, don't think about who cares how somebody looks at you. At this point, I'm not just going to talk about the Hebrew thing, but the perception, the mar'eh or the mirror, the gisha or the attitude. Some people might think we're crazy because some people say that Hebrew's a dead language. What's the point of studying it? And you stay where you at and let those who care to learn it. All right? Okay, so if somebody is saying that you unlearned in a language and he or she is not trying to do a dibur or a speech to teach you and help you, then he or she is wicked. If he or she got enough time to look at you like you crazy or say you unlearned, that's a person that's wicked. Because if your brother and sister we just spoke about, and it says you should not stand idly by the blood of your neighbor, it is your responsibility to help your brother and sister. It is your responsibility to make sure that you be there for your brother or sister, for your sister or your brother. So anybody who has the time to look at you crazy or think, oh, this person is unlearned, then that means he or she is not learned in how, in any language, to have ruach hashalom, or the spirit of peace. How does that person know that you was sent, maybe unbeknown to you by the Most High, to test that person's spirit? I'm going to send, no, I'm not saying I'm Yah, I'm not the creator, and I'm not trying to put words in the Most High's actions. How do we know that the Most High doesn't send one making a mistake around someone who can spot the mistake and just see how you react? Do you sit there and laugh at my son or my daughter? Do you laugh at the children of the Most High God for not knowing? Or do you take out the time to say, let me help my brother or sister? I remember a situation, not to get sidetracked from the lesson. And somebody who was very good in the language was saying, there are other Israelites, they can't even spell their name in Hebrew. But when I look for that person online, no disrespect, I don't see nobody pumping your material. You don't have no classes that's known. Where are your books at? Where are your classes at? Who are your, quote, Talmudim or students? You got enough time to say a brother or sister in a certain place did not or does not know how to spell their name, then what you may want in the name that he or she picked in Hebrew, then if you don't do it, then that means you wicked. There were times in which our grandparents, did you know, had to teach their parents how to spell their own name. He or she done had a child already, and there are times in which in our grandparents' generation, I'm 43, there were times in our grandparents' generation when they said, mommy, daddy, this is how you spell your name, even in English. Some of our great-grandparents passed away not even knowing how to spell their own name. That is a fact. Having children, married, working, know how to do some kind of math because you get a salary, but cannot spell his or her own name. There are people, I've worked in a college even after having my degree. There are people in colleges who cannot read. This is not to get sidetracked. There are people who work in colleges and or are in colleges who cannot read. All you got to do is pay a thing, take a test. They might put you in a remedial course, even in colleges. I took a math remedial course. I was inside of college not knowing math that well. I was doing high school math in college. Now, somebody can sit there and say, well, you know Hebrew, you know linguistics, you know history, you know social sciences. You even tutored it while you was even still a student before you got your degree. But my mathematics was not the best. So Dora and anybody else, anybody who has the time to look at you as a brother or a sister, to sit there and say that you unlearned and they not trying to cause you to be learned, run from him or her. Because that's a person that's just going to be around just to interrogate, disrespect, agitate, humiliate. And then when he or she sees that you're able to do such and such, they're like, oh, wow. But you didn't take the opportune time before the Most High to be a help to your brother or sister. It's not that you ran into somebody to say, I'm here to help you if you need it. Maybe some people are like that, and there's nothing wrong with that if you want to be a helper. But if the Most High brought that person unbeknown perhaps to you, who you can help, and you refuse to do so, that's not righteousness. You don't get blessed for stuff like that. I promise you. So hopefully that answer was satisfactory. Giving honor and praise unto the Most High, creator, maker of heaven and earth. We're going to continue in this. Any questions concerning this? This was up here for a little while. Take your pictures, snapshots, all of it. Take your pens, your pads, your paper. Take your notes. Let's go on, family. Wa amarta aleihem. All right, let's go back to the laser pointer. And it says, the word here, wa amarta, means and you shall say. The wa means and. The word amarta means literally you said. When a wow is put in front of a past tense verb in biblical Hebrew, the word becomes in the future tense. Consequently, when a wow is put in front of a future tense verb in biblical Hebrew, the word becomes in the past tense. This is referred to as the wow consecutive. All right? So, brothers and sisters, when we go over this, all right, in this form, and what we're talking about, this is the same thing we discussed with the word wayidaber. All right? The wow consecutive. We see that right here. All right? And then we see the wow consecutive right there. Let's continue. The word aleihem means to them. This is for a matter whether the parties are all males or mixed with males and females. If the party is all females, the aleihem is aleihen. So let's, brothers and sisters, show with the highlighter the mem suffix. In this case here, that last letter. All right, just want to show that. And then the aleihen, we want to show color coded. All right, with the N in this case. So you got the N here, and over there you have the M. All right, so we just want to go over that. If there's any questions or comments, please, again, feel free to type it into the chat. Any questions or comments, please feel free to type it into the chat. Thank you for that. All right, let's move on, family. I or I am, ani. We cannot stress this, I think, but so much. All right, let's get into this, brothers and sisters. All right. It's late in the UK. Lala told Mishpaka, Lala told to you too. The UK, that's over in Europe. To the best of my knowledge in geography. Definitely appreciate you. C, I don't know how to pronounce the first word. Prave. I thought it was private, so I looked at it again. Sorry. But yes, Lala told to you, my brother or sister, and thank you for even chiming in and watching and helping in this particular case from wherever you are on earth. Let's continue and look at this, right? It says the word ani is used with verbs, regardless of the conjugation of such. Now, what does conjugation mean? I'm going to type it in. Conjugation means either past, present, or future. All right? So when we say conjugate, we're saying either in the past tense, future tense, or present tense. All right. This is in all the stems. Now, the stems we gone over in the past, you have the qual stem, the nifal stem, the pl stem, like in the word daber, and then you got the pu'al stem. Then you have the hefil stem, which we'll get into as time goes along, the hofal stem and the hepal stem. So just want to point that out. All right. Let's go on. In the Hebrew, it says this. Wa'ad zikna ani hu, wa'ad seba ani esbol, ani asiti, wa ani esa, wa ani esbol, wa amale. See how many times you've seen ani? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the above is from Isaiah 46 verse 4, and we will expound on such another time. Unto the gray hairs I am he, I am the same. Even unto the gray hairs, even unto the elder. Zikna means to get older. Zakwan, to be older. Seba meaning gray hairs. Ani esbo, I am the same. Ani asiti, I have done. Wa ani esa, and I have carried. Wa ani esbo, wa amalet. And we're going to, brothers and sisters, get into this as time goes along in that particular case. I am a Hebrew instructor, and I say this in no disrespect. I'm going to say this right here. Sabal means like burden or to carry something that's heavy. But I actually forgot what the word malet means in root. So if anybody can help me with that without the English in front of me, what does malet mean? Because I actually forgot in this case. Asiti means I did. Esa from nasa means to carry or lift. Seba means hoary head. Zikna from zakwan means elder. But and I know sabal means to be heavy or to be burdened or something in that ballpark. All right, but malet I actually forgot the translation of. All right, just want to point that out. Let's continue, family, in this particular case. All right, now let's look at this. All right, asking you to get your pens, your pads, and your paper and take notes. All right, it says this, and we're going to look at this with the laser pointer. Kama asay Mitzrayim, pardon me, Kama asay Eretz Mitzrayim, Asher Yeshabten ba lo ta'asu. Get your pens, get your pads and paper, and take notes. I was only offering an example based off the lesson and previous lessons online that you have done in my own studies. There's just a lack of spoken aspect, different reading and speech. Cain, understood, my brother Doda, and it's definitely appreciated. Cain, but just want to state, anybody who don't want to help when they can't help is wicked. Michelle, anyone? Ashel, Yaakov, who can? La asok me uma, la azor, to do something to help. When enehem rotzim, and they do not want la azor to help. Him rishaim, they are wicked. So let's go on with this. Kama asay. This word means as the doings of. The kaf serves as the prefix and means as. Ma'aseh means doings of. The word ma'aseh comes from en root the word Asah, which means literally he did. The mem serves as a prefix. The verb Asah, we want to point out, is a Lamed-Heh verb, and that it ends in the letter Hey. All right, so the root of that verb can still be shown and seen, all right, with the ayin, the seen, and the Hey. Now, in ancient Hebrew, there was no sheen and seen. It was a sheen or a shah sound. All right, so sheen and seen came about in quote unquote modern Hebrew in the 13th century AD or 13th century CE. So this is why if someone wants to say Yisrael, they're not incorrect. If somebody were to say Shalom, obviously they're correct. If somebody were to say Shash, Ani Shash, I am happy, they're not incorrect. The sheen and the seen have the same meaning and hold the same numerical value. All right, so just want to point that out for reference purposes. In Hebrew, there's 22 letters that we see in Psalms 119. A key thing to know is any of the double letters, the vet, the kaf, as opposed to the kaf. the south as opposed to just thou or tau. Those are doubles. All of the sophete letters like kasophete, memsophete, numsophete, fasophete, zadesophete, when you're dealing with the alphabet, that did not exist in ancient Hebrew. All right, so I just want to point that out for reference purposes. In these classes, as we're going over now, we'll deal with that aspect of more ancient aspect because we're dealing biblically, which is the ancient that we have currently. All right, so now we have the word kama'aseh in this case, and we already went over the aspect of Hebrew having vowels. All right, you can't have a language with no vowels. In this word, we have two prefixes, the kaf and the mem. So brothers and sisters, I'm going to erase that. And we're going to, brothers and sisters, with the highlighter, show the kaf and the mem. Remember, Hebrew's always read from right to left. All right. Amalek means I will escape. All right. Thank you for that, my brother Dorayahu. So that would mean then, in that case, if that be it, malate, a PO verb stem means to escape. Thank you for that, my brother. Let's continue with the time allotted. We want to remember that the mem is used as a prefix to a verb, makes that verb a noun. Take notes, brothers and sisters. We ask you to get your pens, your pad, and your paper and take notes. All right. When you add a mem, and we're going to highlight the mem, all right, in this form right here. It's the second letter in that particular case. That mem changes that verb to a noun. The word for doings is ma'asim. We see that in Genesis chapter 20, verse 9. The word ma'aseh, Leviticus 18:3, means the doings of. Any questions or comments concerning this, please feel free to type it into the chat. Any questions or comments concerning this, please feel free to type it into the chat. Eretz Mitzrayim, the land of Egypt. We know that words like Eretz, as we are going to point out, brothers and sisters, right here, Eretz means in Hebrew are treated as feminine because the word Eretz means land or earth. The same is for the word for ground, which is Adama. Adam, Genesis chapter 5, verse 2, the Most High named male and female Adam, meaning human or mankind. Human, mankind, was made from the Adama. Human was made from the ground. All right. In wisdom, Chakma, which is this word right here, Chakma, meaning wisdom. Wisdom in Hebrew is Chakma. The Creator made the earth. We want to point out that the feminine principle in Hebrew is not ignored. Hebrew is not of misogyny or misandry. What is misogyny? Misogyny is the hatred of females. Misandry is the hatred of males. Hebrew does not entertain that. Just want to point that out. Hebrew does not entertain that. Thank you for that, brothers and sisters, in that manner. All right. So, hey, the letter hey. And we want to show this with this color right here with that. This is the letter hey. We're going over to the right side of the screen. The letter hey, the fifth letter of the alphabet and the first of the two letters which are feminine, the other letter being tau, the 22nd letter. This letter is prefixed in front of pronouns when forming a question. This letter is also prefixed with the verb stems in the hifil, hofal, and hipael. Do not think that Hebrew is difficult. It's different, but not difficult. All right, brothers and sisters? Any questions or comments? Please feel free to type it into the chat. Questions or comments? Please feel free to type it into the chat. Hey means window or behold, because you think about it, when you look out the window, you're beholding something. That's how Hebraic thought works in that particular case. All right. So family, we hoping and praying everybody is well and will be better. We're going to continue in this particular fashion. And again, any questions or comments, please feel free to type it into the chat. Any questions or comments, please feel free, type it into the chat. So the letter hey is a feminine letter. Asher yeshabtem ba. Laser pointer. Asher yeshabtem ba. The word asher meaning which or that. At times, which or that in Hebrew is shortened to she or sha. This is evident in the name Mishael, Exodus chapter 6. So, brothers and sisters, let's look. Highlighter. This Shah that you see there is right there. Me means what? Anybody in the chat? What does me mean in Hebrew? All right. And El means God. So we kind of have the translation in there when you look at it. The words a and is are understood in Hebrew. There is no set way in Hebrew to say a as in a man, or an as in an elephant, or is or as in is doing. Yes, the word me in Hebrew means who is like God. Who is that which is like God? Who that which is, who that is God, who is like God. That's how that is translated, Mishael. That is one of the relatives of Moses. The word Yashabtim, we want to emphasize that Tim, means you all sat, you all dwelt. The root is from the word Yashab, which literally means he sat or he dwelt. In the matter here, the word has the suffix of tem, which we want to emphasize, showing it is MP, masculine plural. The word ba means in her. All right. If there's any questions or comments concerning this, please feel free to type it into the chats. All right. Ashir, which Yeshabtim, you all dwelt ba, in her. What is her? Egypt. Egypt is a land, so as we treat it in a feminine sense. All right. Let's continue in this manner. All right. The words here, lo ta'asu, mean you all shall not do. The word lo means no or not. In Hebrew, it is put before the verb, noun or adjective. Lo, meaning no or not, is put before. I want to highlight that, if we will. All right, with this color here. It's put before. That's important. So if you say lo tov, not good. Lo yafe, not nice. Lo ish, not a man. Lo isha, not a woman. Lo is masculine and feminine in this case. So it's not like lo ah or something like that. Just want to point that out, okay? In contrast, the word for so or yes, which is Cain, very commonly used, can be before or after the verb. Cain asu. Yes, they did. Asu Cain. They did so. That's how that works in that particular case. Any questions or comments? Please feel free to type it into the chat. All right. The word ta'asu means you all will do. It is from the root word asah, as we've gone over before. In the description, there is a video link concerning the matter of the Lamed-Heh verb Asah. Now, these links that you will see in the description is linked to Mordeh Yeshaya Hebrew lessons. We're asking you all to subscribe to that channel as well. We want to point out that in the future tense, the verb is known as such by the prefix. In the past tense, the verb is known such by the suffix. That's why we ask you to get your pens, your pads, and your paper. Any questions concerning this? Please feel free to type it into the chat. Next slide. The prefixes and suffixes in dealing with verbs. When you're doing a class, brothers and sisters, you want to give the people something worth their time. And that is why we go over these kind of matters. All right? Just don't want to just put any old kind of lesson together like, yeah, study it, good night. I like to think to put time and effort in so that way people can appreciate it even more in due respect. All right? Laser pointer, aleph, prefix, serves as the first person, future tense. Bet, prefix, serves as in saying in or with. Ba'asot, in doing. La'asot, another aspect we'll deal with later, to do. All right, just want to point that out. Hey, prefix, serves in the three stems in the past tense. Also, in the command form in the nif'al stem. The command form is telling someone to do something. All right, wow, prefix, serves in saying and. Suffix shows in masculine plural. All right, Yohd, prefix, serves in the third person masculine singular and masculine plural. What is third person? He. So masculine singular and masculine plural. Masculine plural with verbs is what? They. He, third person singular. They, third person plural. Suffix shows, oh, we went over that. Sorry about that. Just want to point that out. Next part. The prefixes and suffixes. Kaf, a prefix, serves in saying like or as. Lamed, a prefix, serves in saying to or for. Mem, a prefix, serves in saying of or from. Me asot, from doing. Bati me asot hashiur, I came from doing the lesson. Noon, prefix, serves in showing the first person masculine plural or FP feminine plural. What is the first person plural, masculine or feminine? We. Now I say we will do. Sheen, prefix, serves to say that or which. You see that a lot in Ecclesiastes when Solomon was speaking. Tau, prefix, serves in the future tense to show masculine singular, masculine plural, feminine plural. Also serves as a suffix to show the feminine singular and feminine plural in the present. What is that saying? Ta'ase means you will do when speaking to a male. And ta'ase means she will do. Same word. That's why context clues and or uses of the pronouns helps in many cases. We already gone over the pronouns in that particular manner. What is the difference in speaking low and low? They both sound the same, spoke differently and have different meanings. How is one to make a difference without asking a person to spell it? To be quite candid, brother, Israelites must, and I stand of this myself, raise the bar. Low meaning to him should be pronounced as low. That wow too should be pronounced low, as opposed to just saying low. And that's how you can tell the difference in that particular case. All right. Hopefully that answered the question. All right. So low would mean to him, and low means no or not. Thank you for the question. Thank you for that. Ani may be etkem shama. All right. Just want to point that out for reference purposes in that particular case. All right, let's continue on, family, in this particular manner. All right. It goes on to say this. The word ani, this means I or I am. The word maybe, we see here, means bring, brings, bringing. This is a present tense he filled stem. The word is in a masculine singular aspect. In the he filled stem, it is generally treated like the causative of the qual stem. Thus, in a qual stem, the word ba means in root he came, and hey be, the he fill of ba, means in root he brought. What does that mean? Hu ba, he came. Hu ba, bakeder, he came in the room. All right, in that particular case, Huba, he was brought to the room. Hey B, he brought to the room. See how that works? So I wanted to point that out real quick. You have Ba means he came. Then you have Huba means he was brought. Then we have Hebi, all right, means he brought. So in the qual stem ba means he came. The hifil is the causative of qual. So if he is bringing, he is causing something to be brought. That's how Hebrew works in that particular case. Any questions about what we're talking about? We're going over biblical Hebrew. Please feel free to type it into the chat. All right. This verb 2 is a Lamed-Aleph verb in that it ends in an aleph. The word etkem means you all, masculine plural. This is the object pronoun. This pronoun goes after the verb. We want to point that out. All right, highlighter. This pronoun goes after the verb. Object pronouns is ot, ota, otak, oto, ota, otanu, etkem, etken, otam, and otan. That means me, you feminine, him, her, us, you all masculine, you all feminine, them masculine, them feminine. Those pronouns called object pronouns always go after the verb, never before. The word shama means there. This is a feminine word. Why? Because you're being brought, Leviticus 18 talks about to the land of Canaan. Land, again, is treated in a feminine. So that's why you will see shama, in this case, ending, brothers and sisters, with the hey, as is followed, after it is followed, pardon me, you have the kormas there followed by the hey. Let me say it like that. All right? So just want to point that out in that particular case. All right? If I can be heard and people in good spirits, please type in the number 4. If I can be heard well and people in good spirits, please type in the number 4. Thank you for that. The word shama means there. Now, when you say shama, when it ends with an ayin, it means to hear. So just want to point that out. Thank you for that, brothers and sisters. And let's continue on. Thank you for that. Ub ku quote hem lo teleku. All right. The word ub ku quote hem, we see here, means and in their statutes, laws. That's what it means. All right. The us serves as a prefix. It means and. The b we see here, and we see with the bet with the shawa. All right. Serves too as a prefix. It means in. The word kuquotehem comes from the word kok, and this word means law, statute, or decree. The word Torah literally means a teaching, because a lot of times we'll say Torah means law. And literally, the word Torah literally means a teaching from the word Hora, which means in root, he taught. All right, so we just want to point that out. The word literally for law in Hebrew is the word kok. Okay? Any questions or comments concerning what we're talking about, please feel free to type it into the chat. All right, the word for statutes, the plural of kok, is kuquot. The a, in this case just te, serves to say whether, whatever, of plural. So kuquot te hem. This te that we see there, we want to color code this. Sorry, let me erase that. And we want to, all right, color code it in this one, all right? This te that you see right there, right? And what we see just underlined right here in the English. That serves to say whatever is. It could be no resh, it would have been re. If it had been a bet, would have been bay, all right? Serves to say whatever, in this case, the word kuquot, meaning laws or statutes, is plural. The hem serves to say their, masculine plural. kukotehem. Hem, we know the pronoun list. Ani, ata, hu, he, anachnu, atem, atem, hem, hem. So this hem means there. But when it's just the pronoun, it means they. The object pronoun otam means them. So let me write that in. You have hang means they, all right? Then you have otam means them, all right? Just want to point that out. The possessives of mine, yours, his, hers, ours, theirs are suffixes in Hebrew. So the suffixes, or pardon me, the possessives, so whether it's mine, his, hers, theirs, is always going to be shown as a suffix. Their mother. Ima means mother. Imam means their mother. In English, you put the aspect of showing a possessive, his, hers, theirs, ours, in the previous to the noun. In Hebrew, it is shown as a suffix. That's what we want to point out and making Hebrew easy, clear for those to understand. If there's any questions concerning what we're talking about, please do not hesitate to type it into the chat. All right? And we hope and pray that people are well. And are feeling better and will be better. Thank you for that, family. All right, next slide. Lo teleku. The words lo teleku means you shall not walk. You shall not go. But this is a plural you, okay? Goes on. The word teleku comes from the word halak and root, literally meaning he walked. Halak literally means he walked. All right? So let's look. The T serves as a prefix for the future tense. The U serves as a suffix showing that the verb is pluralized. So you have what, brothers and sisters? And we're going to color code this for those in the future. All right? We're going to take the eraser. We're going to erase that. And then we're going to show, brothers and sisters, back with the highlighter, the U sound that we see here, as well as what we see right here, right? In this particular case, we have it to where, and we want to color code this with the time allotted, all right? You have the tau, which makes the T sound, serves as a prefix. That's why you see it in the beginning. This serves as a prefix, all right, in that case. Any questions or comments? Please feel free to type it into the chat, all right? Appreciate that, my brother, saying that you love the presentation, all right? Let's go on, if you will, family. We have this right here, laser pointer. Ta-asu, you all shall do. Te-leku, you all shall go. Tam-shiku, you all will continue. Ta-bo'u, you all will come. All right? Oh, so if the mem drops out when conjugated in the future tense, I forgot the name of such verbs. What is that? The mem never drops out. All right? The thing that drops out in the future tense, brother, is the noon, and that's called a pay noon verb. Mem never drops out. All right? Hopefully that was understood, and I do appreciate and thank you for the question. My microphone piece fell, so I'm going to have to again ask the family if I can be heard, and people are in good spirits. Please type in the number 4. My part that holds the microphone fell on me, so I had to pick it back up. So if I can be heard well and people in good spirits, please type in the number 4. All right. You're saying, if I'm hearing you right, that halak, where it starts with the letter hey, the hey drops out. That just is what it is. There's no particular, correct me if I'm wrong, name for the verb that the hey drops out in, because every verb that has the hey doesn't always drop out. All right, in that particular case. All right, so I just want to point that out. I'm sure there's certain aspects where there might be a name set for such, like we have the Lamed-Heh, which is in a hey that ends at the end, but we have the pay noon when the noon is in the beginning, the pay aleph when aleph is in the beginning. Then you got the pay Yohd when the Yohd is in the beginning. I have not, correct me if I'm wrong, seen a pay hey verb where the hey is in the beginning and thus it drops out in the future tense. It just happens to be in that case. And that's a good question. I appreciate that, my brother. So let's look at this. Ta'asu, you all will do. Teleku, you all will go. Tamshiku, you all will continue. Tabo'u, you all will come. Just want to show this in this particular case. All right. What if I were to tell you, Brother Dora, I'm still learning Hebrew myself? You, my brother, have been following the channel, and I don't say you're a follower as if I'm your leader. I'm not trying to come off as such. But I'm saying we have spoken online for quite some time, for some years, actually. What would you say, having known the amount of Hebrew classes a brother has done, that I'm still learning Hebrew myself? What would you say if I said that of myself? Because it's the truth. Because you typed in, you said, oh, okay, still learning, got some work to do. I'm still learning too. What would you say of a more, as I'm called, what was going to be a student, Talmud for life, say to me saying, I'm still learning too? All right. Any questions concerning this? Please feel free to type it in the comments. We have concluded the presentation. We hope and pray that you all are well and will be better. Thus concludes part 1 of the presentation concerning the Hebrew in Leviticus 18. Please subscribe to the channel, comment, like, and share. There will be, we intend, more presentations on the Hebrew of Leviticus 18. This is part 1. We're going to do a part 2. We're going to go through Leviticus 18 in Hebrew, and as time goes on, having done everything from like practically everything, aleph, bet, the alphabet, the vowels, the pronouns, the nouns, the past tense, future tense, the Lamed-Heh, Lamed aleph, Lamed-Ket, verbs in that particular case. Having gone over the pay noon, pay aleph, and pay Yohd. Having gone over the iron Yohd, the iron waw, and the iron verbs. Having gone over the matter of irregularities, as some people call it, which this is our language, it's not irregular, it is what it is kind of thing. All right, so just want to point that out for reference purposes. But that's a question I'm asking you, my brother Doda, if you're still on the line. What would you say, while many brothers and sisters say more than Yeshaya, myself as a Hebrew teacher, if I were to say that I'm still learning Hebrew myself? If that were the case, and if I wasn't learning, I wouldn't keep the books, that I still use the site. What would you say to that, Aki? If I were to say, like you typed in, still learning of yourself, I'm saying to you, I'm still learning. What would you say to that, brother? There will be, we intend, all right, more presentations. If one has any questions, one can reach me at 908-587-4841 or email yyisrael22@yahoo.com. My Facebook name is Yeshaya Author Danite. My Instagram is Yeshaya and Author, YESHIAHANAUTHOR. All right, so just want to point that out, brothers and sisters, for reasonable purposes. All right, any questions, comments? Please, again, feel free to type it into the chat. Any questions, comments? Please, again, feel free to type it into the chat. We hope and pray that everybody is well and will be better. Giving honor and praise unto Yah, the creator, the maker of heaven and earth. The brother said, I was saying that is what our excuse for not learning it or stop learning it. All right, well, I did ask you what you would say in that particular case, and I appreciate the answer for that, my brother. Love, never knowing enough. I always have somewhat to go. Torah more. And we have to ask when one says one is a more, and I appreciate that. What more are you? Because more has two different definitions. More means teacher, and more also means rebellious, that you see in Deuteronomy 21. The stubborn and rebellious son that his parents can't deal with him, so they have him put to death. Which moray are you? Are you the moray that the parents would want to put to death because you're too hard-headed? Or are you a moray, like Proverbs 5 states, as a teacher? And always remembering that you're a student. So giving honor again to the Most High, the Creator, the Maker of heaven and earth. We hope and pray that this lesson was helpful to the family. We have been online for about an hour and 15 minutes. And we intend, brothers and sisters, in the quote, morning time, subscribe to the channel, Mordeh Yeshaya Torah lessons, Mordeh Yeshaya Hebrew lessons, Mordeh Yeshaya history lessons. We intend on Mordeh Yeshaya history lessons, not even in the morning, sorry, because I'm gonna be on a different platform on the prayer line that's ran by the elder Saul Naaman, or the brother who's older than me, so I said that. Saul Naaman and Kokavia, they run his Isha Kokavia, Gavre Kokavia, they run a prayer line, so I'm going to be on that in the morning. So in the afternoon, we intend on Mordeh Yeshaya history lessons to go over history from a biblical perspective. And that presentation is called From the Euphrates to the Mississippi. When the book of Kings says Israel shall be scattered beyond the river, the diaspora of the Israelites in part. So that is intended tomorrow afternoon, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Mordeh Yeshaya history lessons. Subscribe to the channel, giving honor and praise unto the Most High. Going to type that in, Mordeh Yeshaya history lessons. The intention is 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow afternoon, or in the afternoon to come. All right. Shalom Lakem. We hope and pray again. Everybody as well will be better. Thank you all for the support. Thank you all for the love. Thank you all for the comments, the likes, and the shares. We hope and pray that our families are well and that we are well and will be better. All right. I'm going to close out in prayer and then move on from there in that case. Thank you for such. Ya Eloheinu, Elohei Aboteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yisrael, Ha'el HaGibor, Ha'el HaNora, HaGorein, Wagam Kain HaGomer, Kodebarim, Heyasu Mimka, Ein Me'uma Al Arzeka, Asher Lo Asita, Bezedek Be'eneka, Hamiksho, Hu Resha Belibotenu, Salaklanu, Zakarnu, Ki Anaknu Afar Otanu, Al Penenu, Al Hakodeshaze, Hakodeshashishi, Wagam Kain Al Hayom Haze, Al Hayom Hashabat. Kwabel Nata Filotenu, Watane Otan Bebakushaya, Kiata Ha'el Hashomea Ko Debarim. For you are the God who hears all things. Hear our prayers, Watane Otan, and answer them. Hayena Bekayenu Kasho Korenu Aleaka. Be with us in our lives when we call to you, O our King. Ya Melech HaOlam, Ha'el HaGomer, Waha'el HaGorem. The God who completes and the God who starts. The God who creates and the God who finishes. Atahu we'en shawilaka. For you are he, and there is none like you in the heaven above or on the earth beneath. Al Cain, therefore, no more lefanecha. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Therefore we say, praise Yah. The Netzach the Sakim forever and ever. Hallelujah. Amen. Giving honor and praise unto the Most High, the Creator, the Maker of heaven and earth. Thus ends the presentation in this manner. Shalom.